How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. We are 2 days into training camp. What an explosive things that we've seen thus far for the Kansas City Chiefs. But let me tell you, I think that going forward throughout the remainder of training camp, and it's going to sound like what a silly claim, but it's going to be true. Things are going to get better, and you will quickly see which players are ready for a step up in the roster and which players are they've reached their ceiling. However, going into today's podcast and for the remainder of training camp, what I'm looking for from training camp into the new season, here are my two breakout candidates for the Kansas City Chiefs for the 2025 campaign. And they're both going to be familiar. We've talked about both of them before, but not in this regard where it could be a breakout. We've talked about them potentially these guys being extended and whatsoever. But we're going to be talking about their potential breakout seasons, or the two Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion, that have the best chance to break out. And let's start off with one on the offensive side and one off the defensive side. We're going to be starting off on the offensive side, and that's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I know, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about Isaiah Pacheco a whole lot on this podcast, but let me tell you, there's something different about his vibe this season, especially compared to last year. As we know, Isaiah Pacheco had a major step back last season, but it's not necessarily his fault. He got hurt. He tried his best to recover. He came back, and though when he was on the field, it wasn't as explosive as we've seen. The first season, he set off a great mark coming out of the 7th round. The second season, he looked to be an up-and-coming star running back in the league, and he's got all the tools to be successful. And then last year, he kind of took a step back. It's kind of like those situations, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Unfortunately, that has been not necessarily the case for Pacheco. I just think that with a full healthy season, he can reach his goal of over 1,000 1,000 rushing yards for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's extremely doable. This is a team that wants to be more explosive on the ground game. And going into this season, it is the final year of the rookie contract for Isaiah Pacheco. He's going to want to stay in Kansas City, you would think, before testing free agency. But even if he doesn't have the hopes of staying in Kansas City for the long haul, it's this season that has everything riding on him. We have seen him be explosive in the past. I think that him coming back and him saying that he's ready to go, he looks healthy. Head coach Andy Reid has talked so positively about him. They want to get the ground game going once again. Isaiah Pacheco's got the legs. He's got the speed. He's got the energy both on and off the field. I think that he just has all the pieces to be a guy to elevate his game tenfolds this season. Whether he gets to in above 1,000 rushing yards, I think he can do so. In his career high touchdowns is 7. Maybe we see Isaiah Pacheco that can rush for 10 touchdowns this season. Isaiah Pacheco, a guy who can get 50 or more first downs for this team while keeping that football secure in his hands. That has been a problem for him in the past. He's got 4 fumbles in his first 3 seasons, and while it's not necessarily a statistic to look at, it is important to note. He needs to get back to being that player that can at least cut the first down yardage in half, on average. I think with a strong training camp, knowing that he's got this is his job to lose currently. The running backs that the Kansas City Chiefs have on the roster, almost all of them are signed to 1-year deals, at least to the ones in the veteran sense. Kareem Hunt is on a 1-year deal. Elijah Mitchell is on a 1-year deal. Brashard Smith, while he's not on a one-year deal, he might be in the back pocket for the Chiefs to where he has to increase his productivity like Isaiah Pacheco did out of the 7th round as well. Carson Steele is likely not to be the guy that they hand off the ball to more consistently. It's Isaiah Pacheco's job to lose. You never know what's going to happen down the line in the 2026 NFL draft, but there's going to be a slew of running backs for the Kansas City Chiefs to consider. They waited until the 7th round to draft a running back in this year's draft, knowing that there could be a make or break season for Isaiah Pacheco on the horizon. So that's number one, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm expecting big things, and if he has a breakout season, I think the Kansas City Chiefs might be indestructible. At least in the AFC, we know how tough their schedule is to begin the year. But a second guy that I predict having a really good breakout season, and several other sites have seen, analysts and all have just predicted this guy to take a step forward, and that's safety, second-year safety, Jaden Hicks. Jaden Hicks, he played in 17 games last season with the Kansas City Chiefs. He collected 29 total tackles, 23 of which were solos. He had 3 interceptions, 5 passes defended. I've broke down the expectations that I have for Jaden Hicks going into this season. If you missed that podcast, be sure to go check it out. Came out nearing 2 weeks ago as the recording of this video, or of this podcast, rather. Jaden Hicks, though, now that Justin Reed is out and he's signed with the New Orleans Saints, you got the other safety veterans who are going to be molding him. This former 4th-round pick, he has got the tools to be successful, and I think he's got the drive. I am expecting big things out of Jaden Hicks. I think that he's a guy that's going to be able to, be a commanding force on the field. While he might take some time to work into or grow to the level that Justin Reed was playing at in Kansas City, I think that he's got the tools and the pieces and definitely the coaching staff to get him to where he is. And even if it's not a quote-unquote breakout season that he is, earning all-pro status or becoming a Pro Bowler, as long as he takes a step in the right direction in a large amount, that's a breakout season in my eyes. If this is the season for him to see his stock grow as a former 4th-round pick, he could be a guy who increases and almost doubles his total tackles. And if that happens, then that becomes the expectation for the following season. For the majority of training camp, or in the rest that we have in front of us, be sure you keep an eye on Jaden Hicks. I know I will, and I will be sure to keep you guys in the loop on him. Even Brian Cook had positive things to say about the youngster, saying that he is the young force in the safety room, that if some of the veterans are down in the dumps or if their bodies are a little bit tired, Jaden Hicks has that infectious energy to give to the defense. That's what you want on the defensive side of the football for Kansas City. That's a guy that you can build a franchise around, or at least the defense, as well as a guy that you can trust putting out there as for stepping into a role that was held 3 seasons in a row by a multi-time Super Bowl champion, a crucial piece in the Chiefs dynasty in Justin Reed. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those are my 2 guys that I am looking forward to throughout the entirety of training camp, as in to take their success from training camp into the new season for a breakout year. Jaden Hicks, Isaiah Pacheco. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure you follow me over on X at Dom Vincella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage that we've got of training camp. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to find all your news. We get breaking stories. We keep you updated all the time, and you can find all of the stories either on my X account, or you can follow us at KC Chiefs on SI over on X as well. We got a wonderful writing staff covering the Kansas City Chiefs training camp. You're not going to want to miss anything. But that being said, as always, ladies and gentlemen, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.